Good morning. Fish as Food is a MOOC program which is offered by Kerala University of Fisheries and Ocean Studies. The instructors for the program are Dr. Maya Raman and Dr. Blossom K. Let's look into the fish. It's a nutritious food and is highly flavored. The fish consists of moisture, protein, lipids, and ash. These are the macro components, and it also includes carbohydrate, though in fish it is found in small amounts as glycogen. Now let's look into the module 1, which details about the water. Water is the major component in any living organism, and in fish also it is the major component and which is estimated as much. When the overview of the module includes water in foods, molecular structure, physiochemical properties, types of water and water activity. Now let's see what is a water. Water are made of tiny molecules of hydrogen and oxygen. Each molecule of water is very tiny and it cannot be seen by naked eye and not even by the powerful microscope. Pure water has no color, no taste, and doesn't smell of anything. Water exists in three forms, that is solid, liquid, and gas. Water is considered as a solvent for life. When you look into the surface of Earth, 75% of the Earth's surface is covered with water, and it is essential for the life on Earth. All living organisms require water than more than any other substance. It is something which cannot be lived without. Life began in water, and 70 to 95% of the human cell is made up of water. And since many things can dissolve in it, it is called universal solvent. For all the metabolic activities, such as digestion, for the regulation of temperature, then shock absorption, and reproduction and excretion of unwanted waste from the body, we require water. These are some of the metabolic activities or some of the functions that happens in human body where water plays an important role. And water characteristics of water as a life supporting media, it acts as a coolant and it also acts as a good insulator, and therefore it retains heat and it resists the sharp changes in temperature. Water expands when it is frozen, and it is converted to ice, which is less denser, and hence it floats on the water surface. And like we mentioned earlier, water is a universal solvent, and hence it can dissolve many things can be dissolved in it, and it is key to biological process. Also, it maintains homeostasis. Now, when you look into the structure of water molecule, it contains two negative and two positive charges that forms the angles of a regular tetrahedron. So, water molecule has a tetrahedron shape, and you will find that each water molecule is linked with the neighboring water molecules through hydrogen bonds. And the hydrogen bond energy is higher than the normal van der Waals, and it is very important for the formation of ice. So one single water molecule it can bridge with four another water molecules. Hydrogen bonds they hold water molecules together, and these are weaker bonds than covalent bonds, and they form, break, and reform. And the extraordinary properties of water are exhibited due to the high presence of hydrogen bonds, and these properties include cohesive behavior and resistance to change, during the temperature variations and high heat of vaporization, expansion on freezing, and versatile solvent. Now let's look into the physical and chemical properties of water. These are the physical chemical properties that are generally considered, and it includes water vapor pressure, density, specific heat, heat of vaporization, thermal conductivity, surface tension, viscosity, refractive index, etc. So if you look at the table given here, as the temperature increases, the viscosity of water molecule it decreases. Whereas, and this is because of the movement of water molecules with the increase in temperature. Similarly, the properties of water and ice, the physical properties of water and ice at different temperatures are given in this table. A water molecule, it's a very stable molecule and it's also considered as a polar molecule. It has both positive and negative ends, and the polarity has a large impact on the properties of water. Because of the electron arrangements in the water molecule, the polarity reserves and it allows water molecule to form hydrogen bonds uh, with other water molecule and with other polar substances. And polar substances are hydrophilic in nature. That means they attract water or they are water loving. And non-polar by non-polar substances, we mean that they are hydrophobic in nature. That is, they repel water. Now, coming to the properties of water, first property which we have already seen, they form hydrogen bonding. So it is caused uh, by the bonds between oxygen and hydrogen. So there's attraction between the negative charge of oxygen and positive charge on the hydrogen, and these are responsible for the formation of water molecule, and it's a very weak bond. Now, second property is cohesion. Hydrogen bonds, they hold water molecules together in liquid, and this property, the cohesive property, is a very important property for the transportation of water in the plants, and is also responsible for high surface tension. Surface tension is defined as the property of the surface of the liquid that allows it to resist the external force due to and this is contributed by the cohesiveness of the water molecule. Next property, physical property exhibited by water is adhesion, and water molecules it sticks to other materials. Capillary action, like we have seen earlier, uh, water molecules they rise against gravity, and this is responsible for the movement of water molecules from the root to the leaves of the plants, and this property plays an important role there. And next property is density. Ice is less denser than water, and ice is formed during freezing of water molecules, and since it is less denser it floats on water surface. Again, the last and the most important property is universal solvent. Water acts as a universal solvent, and hence it can contain or many substances can be dissolved in it, and they are formed into ions and or hydrophilic solutes. And high specific heat, it means that water takes longer time to heat up and to cool down. So water has high specific heat. To conclude, we have understood what water molecule is and what are the components or atoms involved in the formation of water. We have also seen the molecular structure of water, and water is a very important component for a living organism, and at the same time it also determines the shelf life of the food. Thank you.